someone send me Buzz Rossdale's number. Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Day.Sports. If you haven't been here before, make sure you like, subscribe, go follow on all the socials, all that sort of jazz. It's just a bit of an informal rugby league chat here, not about the X's and O's, more about the show and go, so don't expect any super deep analysis or anything. If you've listened before, obviously, you know that that's exactly what it's about. I'll ramble and stumble my way through a recap of last week. I'll timestamp everything. And of course, tips and predictions. We've got plenty of stuff going on in the world of rugby league at the moment. We've got clubs basically in turmoil, Melbourne Storms. Others that are humming that we wouldn't thought, like the Tigers, and just plenty of stuff going on. So yeah, make sure you jump forward to what you want to listen to. If not, I might as well just jump into it. Now, before we get into the recaps and everything else, I just wanted to talk about the use of large stadiums in the world of rugby league. Now, your Accors, some of your big ones in Sydney, things like that. Even for Suncorp, when the Dolphins play there, they look terrible. They look terrible when it's just like you're running a middle of the game and you got bloody, 15, 20,000 max in like a 50, 60,000 seating stadium. It just looks terrible. It is not nice. And the game that made me want to talk about this, there's plenty of examples of it, but Doggies playing, what is it? There's a core, whatever it is. Who gives a fuck? Against Penrith Panthers. You're like, if you played that in a smaller or more regional stadium, it would have been packed out. Like if you had that at Belmore, it would have been thriving, absolutely humming there. But no, let's play in this massive stadium where it looks like there's nobody there. Pretty much most teams, like unless you're the Brisbane Broncos, potentially Melbourne Storm down there in Melbourne, but more so your Broncos, you can fill up a Suncorp stadium for a regular fixture, but most teams aren't going to be doing that. You look at Shark Park, like they look great when they're there. Brookvale looks unreal, where they got the Good Day Hill going on. Manly, win or lose, draw, I suppose, but packed out. McDonald Jones Stadium, Leichhardt, all these places just look spectacular. And I don't know if it's just because I'm seeing it more now through other rugby league content creators, but it promotes the game even more. If anything, you want to be down there. You don't want to miss out on that. Like the atmosphere, everyone gets around it. Especially the venues that have hills. Like that seems to be the spot. I've only really been to one, and that was the Sunshine Coast Stadium there to see Broncos Rabbithos a few years ago. And I think it was like, I'd like to say 3/4 of it was hill, and I just had that one little stand there. But fuck, it's elite. Like parking up on there, having a few tinnies, and just enjoying a bit of rugby league football. So yeah, that's my little rant about that. Can we do away with the big stadiums? I understand from a financial perspective, you can get more people through the gates and whatever else, but visually, it just looks a whole lot better, and it seems to be a better atmosphere. So look, what the fuck do I know? Safe to say I'm not running giant stadiums, but maybe a little bit more of it. Yeah, before we jump into everything, a quick little shout out to the Chats. They were playing at Coachella the other day. If you didn't know, you would have seen about 1 million Justin Bieber memes that it has been on, but they were playing in front of a massive crowd over there at Coachella, like probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of fans for the Chats. They're out there just singing, "I'm on Smokey." Absolutely sending it as they do if you're into that type of thing, but absolute massive thing for rugby league though. Their background on stage was the Raging Bull himself, Gordon Tallis. He's got Brent Hodgson by the bloody scruff of his neck, dragging him over the sideline for the entire world to see. So that's a nice little advertisement for the Yanks, for the game of rugby league. Love to see it. Alrighty, but let's get into round 6. Bit of a chat, bit of accountability. What was going on in my world of tipping? Not much at all. If you had followed me, if any of my tips, we'll get to the one that really went well, but it was a shit week. Let's just say that. 3 for 8, not my best work. And it's one of those funny things. Like I swear the weeks that my TikToks, my videos, like whatever go really well, my tips will be fucking dog shit. The ones that flop, do bad, terrible, 8 for 8, 7 for 8, no worries. Absolutely look like a rugby league genius, which I somewhat did for this round, but not so much at the same time. But we might as well jump in. Let's have a look. What happened first? Doggies beaten the unbeatable Penrith Panthers, who are getting compared to Queensland, who are basically going to be handed the trophy, including myself saying that they should basically get it now. Nobody would have picked them. Even Dogs fans were like honestly, it would surprise me if Winston Neville even picked his own team at this stage. Like, they looked doomed. Let's just put it that way. They looked absolutely fucked with the Penrith team, with milestones coming up as well. Like Nathan Cleary, 200th game, and he and the rest of the Panthers, and I'm sure they'd all put their hand up for this, probably played one of their worst games that they have played in yonks. But like, genuinely did Penrith Panthers have a stroke. It was just bizarre watching them, and I'm not trying to take away from the Bulldogs. They played really good footy as well, just like shut down Penrith and everything they were doing. It was great from their side of things. Shout out to NRL Soapbox Soapy. He was making that video about you know the Bulldogs are on when the short ball to Preston's working, and that's basically is how it all came together. But yeah, Penrith were just making uncharacteristic like mistakes. They were just doing weird shit. Nathan Cleary, again, probably played one of his weirder games that I've ever seen him do. The couple, I think, drop balls or passes that went to the ground. It was all over the place. Like, there was a point there that he was throwing the ball to Ghosts out on the sideline. Like, Cleary's gone, yep, sweet. No look, bang, cut out ball. Oh, there's literally nobody there. Like, he imagined someone steaming onto it. Nobody's home. Which we just never see him do. And, you know, the man is human, don't get me wrong. And so are the Penrith Panthers. This loss, sure, I'm sure they're going to take some stuff out of it. Means very little to them. I doubt it's really going to be an issue at all. But good job to the Bulldogs. They did great. Tommy Jenkins, what a fucking machine, mind you. I think was it in this game? Oh, I'm trying to think now if it was. I'm going to have to double check this, but I swear Connor Tracy had one of the greatest like try saves I've seen in a while. Like, I don't know who it was. They were through for all money. He's got him by the ankle, and then they've managed to crossfield kick it to old Milky Jenkins, who again is just having day out scoring tries for fun. Like, he is unstoppable. Catches in the air, puts it down. Thank you very much for coming. But yeah, going back to Nathan as well, just because I'm having a look at the notes that I've got here. Like, how many times did he get caught on fourth tackle with the ball? Like, we rarely ever see that. The amount of times he was running it or just got caught with it with a rushing defence, pressure put on him, like, yeah, they really shut down Nathan's kicking game, and I think that had a lot to it. The old kick to the corners, chase real hard, and just strangle teams just wasn't really working. You got to the point where he's chipping and chasing and grubbering and just doing these things that he doesn't usually do, I suppose. So they were a little bit under the pump, but yeah, bit of odd football. And there's a video of the Doggies fans absolutely giving it to Ivan Cleary in the box, and he gives him a little something and a little there you go, how about that, which was quite funny from Ivan. I find he's got a couple of those moments in him. I reckon you probably wouldn't get it on Ivan's bad side. Like, ex-NRL player probably has a bit of get up and go, especially managing a team like Penrith. So yeah, wouldn't want to get on his bad side. All right, fozball strikes again. 0-6 for the Dragons. JC is having meltdowns, and I think the rest of the Dragons fans are genuinely having meltdowns at this point, and justifiably so. I would hate to be a Dragons fan. I didn't even realise it was at Woo Woo Stadium. I just instantly was like, fozball, Manly, thank you very much for coming. I'm never picking the Dragons. Again, like I said, until Flano gets dropped, which I believe there's a meeting tonight. So who knows, while this is coming out, I might be reading Mick Ennis as the coach all of a sudden. But yeah, not super great. They're definitely cursed. The players, though, they're still back in Flano. So it's almost like the Ben Hunt stuff a few years ago where, you know, he was always, I want to get out of here. I need to leave. And then he was like, I'm happy at the Dragons. And it's like, have you got a bit of Stockholm syndrome there, Benny? So I'm not too sure if that's happening. Obviously, it's nice of the players to, you know, go and back their coach in and, you know, stand up for him. But I don't know. It just seems like an entire sinking ship there at the Dragons. I feel like even just replacing the coach isn't going to be enough. Again, what the fuck do I know about it? But I'm for disbanding them completely. Like, back to New South Wales Cup, they're gone out of the NRL. But, you know, each to their own, I suppose. Let me have a look. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he lasts this week. Fogarty, he was looking great out there. You know, fozball, 2-0, 100% success rate. Absolutely killing it. Love to see it. Jakey Trebojevic, Gerbo. His eye looks so crook. They were saying not a concussion, nothing like that, but he must have got a knocked out of cheek. His right eye like fully swelled up, and you're like, whoa, that is nasty. The dude is in some absolute wars. Just, yeah, really unlucky stuff. But yeah, suck shit Dragons. Broncos, we went down to the Cowboys, obviously. This was such a close game. Like, so many people are saying it, but it is a real kind of throwback to, you know, the old derby days, because the last few years Broncos have made the Cowboys their absolute bitch. One of my mates, diehard Cowboys fans, secretly I think closeted Broncos fan, but gave me a little bit of stick, and it just fucking got under my skin, this one. I don't know. And I don't like to try to say, like, don't get me wrong, Cowboys played well, got the W, good on them. They're in a bit of form at the moment. Todd Payton somehow getting the troops in order. But the Broncos, yeah, a bit weird, but you just can't help to think, if we had a full side, and maybe not even the full side, not even necessarily Doze and Renner, I reckon if we just had Reece Walsh in that game, we win that game. Walsh is worth probably 2.5 tries, you know, whether it's assists or him scoring by itself. So just one of those things. But yeah, Cowboys did well. I have 2 sleep paralysis demons now. One of them is Scott Drinkwater. He fucking shredded us. He played out of his skin. Bit of a kind of rocks and diamonds, I suppose, start to the season, but he's hit form and fuck me. He's just, every time he had the ball, you're like, what's he going to do? He was just breaking the line, finding holes, try assist, this, that, everything else. Just, you were happy if you got caught with the ball on like tackle 4 because you're like, fuck, at least he's not going to be part of some sort of shape run of the Brisbane Broncos. Second sleep paralysis demon is Jesse Arthur's under the high ball. Look, wasn't pretty. Props to him. Went up every single time, competed for it. You can't complain about that. But more often than not, the Cowboys just bombed the living fuck out of our back line. And yeah, they got the ball back a lot out of that, which wasn't really great. But yeah, we lost so many players. Like, we're already running on steam coming into the game, let alone losing Moser, losing Corey Pakes. Was there somebody else that went down? Like, we're about 4 bloody hookers in at this stage. You got Josh Rogers playing there at hooker. Like, what is doing at this stage? Poor Blakey Moser finally gets his chance, and he was looking good there for a little bit. Like, I was liking the, running a little bit out of dummy half, getting us on the front foot, and then you just saw it coming from a mile away, but it was literally like David versus Goliath. But Goliath this time obviously got the win. Taumalolo's like steaming through, and Moser just holds his ground and tries to jam him a bit and just absolutely gets wiped out. And fucking props to him for having a go. Like, that is some ballsy shit. But yeah, obviously, look at the size of the two. You're going to, who's going to come off? He's probably given up 30-odd kgs on old Jason. And yeah, it didn't end up well. I think he's, broken jaw or whatever. He's going to be out for some time. So hope he heals up, gets his cooking videos in and does whatever he needs to get back in that team. It'll just be a matter of time. But yeah, super unfortunate there. Yeah, Duffy, he had a pretty good game, not going to lie. I was a little bit hesitant considering how he went with the Cowboys. Was it a season or 2 ago? Whatever. It might have been the start of last season, but super, super young. I thought he played really well. A lot of people are giving him a lot of raps. So, yeah, really good to see him get in and get some experience there in the first grade. That's one where we're like, oh, yes, that is going to be super handy to have him in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays again this weekend, but we will get to that as well. What else was doing in this game? Oh, yeah, Jackson Purdue, he, that fucking try he scored, that was so frustrating, like, hell of a try. Like, if it was the other way around, if it was Reece Walsh, like, just skimming through a team and going the length of the field and scoring, I'd be fucking frothing at the mouth. But it was a bit rough. I think it was Scotty Drink just, like, crabbed across a little bit, gave the offload, and just fucking took off and just... I don't know. There was a lot of defensive things going on in this game that wasn't the most pretty thing. We came close, though. Considering the personnel we had, the Broncos came close. And that's all you can ask for, you know what I mean? They had a red-hot crack at it. Let's have a look. Raiders, they just beat the Bunnies. I didn't catch all of this, so there's only so much I can really say. I left about halftime, and I think it was, 24-4, 26-4, somewhere around that ballpark anyway. It was like, fucking looking like the Raiders were going to flog them. But in my head, and I texted my brother as well, I was like, live bet the Bunnies, the Raiders, they've got a little bit of a habit, not so much last year as much, but playing only one half of football and then falling off. And that's almost what has happened here. Me and the missus were going get fish and chips. We were going for a bit of a drive. And I was like, can you just check the score for me? And she pulls up, and I think it was like 32-34 or whatever the final score ended up being. And I was like, geez, they've actually made a fucking run for it. I'm not sure if Trell had some shots at 2-point field goals, but if there's a guy to do it, it's probably going to be Trell. But yeah, to come within 2 points after that lead at halftime is crazy. Like, Raiders, nearly the biggest choke artist of all time. But the Milk just got it done. They were so due for that win. Tamale, and I'm not sure, I'm assuming this is why he's not playing this week, but had quite a run, got to the try line. Commentators, everyone was like, fuck, did he do his hammy? Is he injured? The way he pulled up so stiff. And he got a little bit of feedback there from Cody Walker, a little clip around the ear, because I think he was trying to potentially be a little bit of a smart ass and kind of the old, you've run past me and put the ball down, and instant spray and feedback from Sticky, just being like, mate, well, fucking none of that. Thank you very much. Moving on, Roosters, they beat the Sharks. Thank fuck for that, because that's another one. The Sharkies got out to not a bad lead at all. Absolute choke artists, though. That's just what the Sharks do, and it's nice for me. It's another time that I don't need to back them, basically. I wasn't 100% confident coming into this. I didn't get to watch this one again. I was out and about doing things. There was quite a bit of controversy, obviously, with the disruptor stuff. I haven't even looked into it. Don't particularly care. That's why I don't watch the Sharks games a whole lot, but I said when they win 3 in a row that I'd back them. They haven't done that. Roosters, they keep the streak alive. This next game, this was probably one of the best games I'd say this round, if not the best game this round. The Warriors absolutely pumping the Storm. It is just good for rugby league. It is good. I don't think there's a single fan out there besides Storm fans that are disappointed with them getting pumped at the moment. 4 losses in a row. Let's make it 5. Pretty crazy stuff. Like, I copped a lot of shit throughout the week, being like, there's no chance of them. And considering the record, it's down in Melbourne, all that, like, understandable. But this is just not the same team that we've seen the last few weeks. But, enough of the Melbourne stuff. Absolute props to the Warriors, though. They went out there and killed it, made me look like an absolute rugby league genius. I wish that I'd just put a bet on them head-to-head to win because they fucking murdered them. They were up for it from the first minute all the way through to the 79th minute. They were just on, played with the same level of intensity, bashed the fuck out of them through the middle as well, and that's what made such a difference. Like, James Fisher-Harris, Jackson Ford, Lecker was flatlining people. There was one point there he steamed out of the line and just destroyed Jerome Hughes, put him down bad. You're like, whew, that would have hurt. Dylan Watene-Zelezniak had a day out. Roger, he was killing people as well. There was a point there, who did he put over? It might have been Warbrick. He put over the sideline and was like, nah. That was fucking savage. That was so good. And then props as well to Chanel Harris-Tavita. Bro was putting shots on big boys as well. There was one that he put on Josh King, flatlined him. King gets up, pushing him and having a go, then runs away from a much smaller 6. Bit of brouhaha continues. But yeah, the Warriors, they were just so up for it, and the Storm just didn't have an answer to it. Just the intensity was ridiculous. It generally had me wondering, did Stefano chat shit about the Wars and I just never saw it? Did somebody from the Warriors get a hold of it in a group chat, send it around to everyone? Because, fuck, they pumped him and the rest of them. What is doing there? Yeah, Bellyache, though, his comments after were so funny. The press conference, just being like, yeah, don't know what's happening there. It would have been better just go down to the pub and have a couple of beers instead. And that's a lot coming from Bellyache. I think he's like, fuck, what is actually doing? But yeah, and then there was Joe Chan who got hooked, which was really unfortunate for my super coach. Would have been nice to get the points, but wasn't having the greatest game of all time. And then footage came out. I don't know if it was mid or after the match or whatever, of Bellyache giving him a fucking colossal spray there in the change rooms. I don't know the situation there, but he went back to have a go a couple times. You're like, you would just want to blend into that chair and just disappear. To be a fly on the wall for that conversation just would have been incredible. And yeah, rest in peace probably to 3 chairs in the coach's box, because Bellyache probably would have just been front kicking those things all over the joint. But yeah, up the was. Let's have a look-see. Didn't get to see all of this. Titans annihilated the Eels, though. Absolutely terrible tip from me. I don't know why I went with the Eels on that. I should have backed in Queensland, but, it is what it is. Double cursed. You are cursed. 50 points times 2, 6 rounds in. That is rough. At this stage, if you're an Eels fan, you should just about be allowed to pick another team to go for. Your team's scratched out. I don't know if you scratched out 2 years in a row with 250s put on you. I'm not too sure. Is it a double negative becomes positive? Maybe they're back in the running. I'm not too sure, but woeful stuff. When you get in a train put on you from the Gold Coast Titans, this is not very good, this. But yeah, not great. Keanu Keeney, absolute gun. How he didn't score a try in this game. He blew them out of the water. I think it was Big Tino who put up something on his story after as well, saying, people are shitting on him one week and biggest fans the next. And that seems to be a bit of a thing going on in the rugby league world. In this day and age, they're all on social media. They see everything. So it's got to keep that same energy. You got to be like Xavier Williamson's username, Mr. Stand on Business. If you're saying something, if you're a fan one week, you got to be a fan another. And yeah, just one of those things. But yeah, good on the Titans for getting it done. Last but not least, this was again really another fun one. But the Tigers, they pumped the Newcastle Knights. I tipped the Knights. I didn't really see this going this way. A lot of people are like, maybe the Knights aren't as good as they, think they are, or, whatever was going on. But I'm like, I don't know. I think the Tigers might have potentially just played out of their fucking skin in this game. They absolutely killed it. Just some of the plays, some of the things that they scored off. They had, what was old mate in the centres on the right-hand side? Whatever his name was, Patrick something or other. Sorry, I forgot your name. He's doing like gridiron American football throws out to the Taruva on the wing. He carved them up, scoring tries left, right and centre. There was a period there I genuinely thought we were going to see another 50-point scoreline. They were absolutely flying. But the pressure that they put on, they're such an exciting, chaotic team to watch. They're a little bit like the Broncos, I suppose. It gives a little bit of that same vibes. Twal, absolute beast, my super coach. Glad that I moved heaven and earth to get him in there. Very good. What else in this one? But yeah, Knights, like they just did not have the ball at all. The Tigers just shut them down, had just the line share of possession. The Knights, when they did get, good position, good ball, they scored tries. So I'm like, I don't know if they're really as bad as, people are making them out to be. It's just one of those days, the ball doesn't bounce your way, things don't go your way, and the other team's absolutely fucking humming. Like, it's going to happen. What are you going to do? You look at that, like probably the Warriors versus Storm. Like, the Warriors they were never going to lose that. Didn't matter who they played. They were going to win that game with that intensity. So just one of those ones. But yeah, nice to see the Tigers going well. I'm interested to see if they can keep this up though. They might be going hot and heavy at the start, busting too early and then just fall off a cliff. Not too sure. Early days. There is a part of me that's terrified to play them, but we'll get to that in a second because we're about to jump into the tips and predictions for round. What fucking round are we in? We're in round 7, right? Let me have a look. Round 7. Round 7. All right. Let's do it. Round 7. Who we got up first? Cowboys versus Manly. This one is up at the far north of the wall in North Queensland. Cowboys coming in the favourite in 4th place. Jeez. They're favourites over the Seagulls. There you go. This is two terrible things. You've got the Cowboys playing, which is already scary enough. They can what's going to happen here? But Thursday night scaries end in Townsville. That's a lot going on. Thursday night scaries, so if anyone doesn't understand what that means is I have a shocking tipping history on Thursdays. Like, it could be the fucking $1.10 favourites playing $9 underdogs and the $9 underdogs will win. It's just one of those things. So I'm always hesitant. It's always pretty much like, just get the bad one out of the way first and go from there. But in this, out of spite, purely because they beat the Broncos last week and I like to see them lose, I'm going fozball 1-12. I'm going with Manly. I would love to see them get this done. And I probably should go the Cowboys in this one. They're in red hot form at the moment, playing at home. All signs lead to Cowboys. But you've also got Manly revving up a little bit of steam here, which I love. But yeah, both on a bit of a roll recently. But this game, like, I don't know. I'd probably just overall, tip my hat probably to the Cowboys. But look, I feel like it's going to be one of those games. Neither of these teams have like the greatest defense of all time. Like, yes, the Cowboys are winning game, but they're also leaking a fuck ton of points. And both of these teams have, players that can score points, like elite back lines. So I can see this being just a shootout of who the fuck can put on more points. It's going to end up being like a 34-30 game, something like that. So if you want to put in a couple of anytime try scorers, I reckon this is going to be the one. And for me, I'm going to go with Tommy Turbo to score anytime. He's due. He's due for a nice little try. But yeah, and also the Cowboys, they're missing a few players. I think Reid Marnie's not playing, so Sonny Luke's in. Murray Talangi, he's out as well. So it's not a massive real shake-up, but yeah, I'm still going to go with Manly. Raiders versus Storm, out of spite, and because I'd fucking love to see Melbourne lose 5 on the trot. I'm going with Sticky's Raiders. I'm going with the Milk 1-12. Because yeah, it would just be the greatest thing of all time. And nobody thought Penrith last year were going to lose 5 in a row. I'm pretty sure they did, but it's Storm's turn. Everyone's going to get it at some stage. So yeah, give him the milk at home. Turn the screws. I feel like Ricky is going to definitely have them well and truly up for this as well. Like, finally snagged a win. They're back at home in front of the home team. Storm on an absolute decline at this stage. Like, they're going to be stressing. They've never been in this situation before. I don't think any of the players in this team, like, when was the last time they started this bad? I'm pulling at straws here, but it's like, it might have been 2012, could have been 2006, whenever the hell it was. Like, it's been a long time. I don't think a single player in this team would have experienced, obviously, unless they've played at other teams. If they've mostly just been at Melbourne, they probably haven't experienced, this sort of start, these kind of losses. Fuck, what do we do in these sort of circumstances? So, be interesting to see if they can bounce back. Obviously, they're gonna murder some team eventually, but whether or not it's going to be this week, not too sure. I'm surprised to see Joey Chan's actually still in the team. I genuinely thought he was going to get dropped. So, out of my Supercoach team he goes anyway. I think Sean Bloor got named in the reserve, so don't be surprised if that gets switched over as well. But I feel like the Raiders could give them the same dramas that the Warriors, did the week before, where the middles just beat the shit out of them. Like the Raiders, they got big Josh Papali'i, Joey Tarpanay. Is Josh Papali'i playing? Hang on, let me check. Let me have a look. See, Papali'i, Joey Tarpanay, Huddy Young, Noe Martin, and Horsburgh in there. Well, that is a scary forward pack, honestly. Like, those are guys, big, aggressive, that will smash the living daylights out of you. So, yeah, Stefano, watch out, bro, because they're going to be coming for you, no doubt. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they give them the same kind of dramas. And same thing, where they got this, really young, explosive backline. You got KO Weeks, they can card through. Timoko comes back in. Sasangi's been killing people. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised at all. And I am actually going to go with Sasangi to score anytime as well. Alrighty, move on. Finns versus the Riff. I'm going with the Penrith Panthers 13 plus in this. Yes, the Penrith Panthers finally got beaten. It was going to happen eventually. Every single team cannot go the entire... when was the last time a team went the entire season without taking an L? But I feel like they're going to bounce back big time. Again, they've probably already hit their rock bottom for the season. Probably one of the worst games I've played in yonks, so wouldn't be surprised if they come out here and tear these poor Dolphins a new one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be captaining Nathan Cleary. I can see him coming out and having an absolute masterclass. Dolphins coming off a bye. That's happy days. It is at Suncorp, and they did beat Storm at Suncorp last season when a lot of people wouldn't have ever given them a chance. Actually, no, I lied to you. It is in Darwin. Ooh, that is... Okay, this changes everything. Darwin might have a little bit of woo-woo about it. Games in Perth, games in Darwin are really weird to pick, so scratch whatever I was saying about that. There are some notable outs, though, for the Penrith Panthers. So Casey McLean and no Liam Martin, so they're out. Obviously, Casey McLean, he's just been an attacking demon down that left side. So I think Isaac Tungo is coming in instead, which, don't get me wrong, absolute gun in his own right, but the way that McLean has been playing and hooking up old Milky Jenkins has been ridiculous. But... yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Dolphins could snag it. They could upset the apple carters, I'd say. But I feel like, yeah, Penrith, especially coming off a loss, especially after whoever revved up old Ivan to be fucking giving people a bit. Yeah, I'm going to be backing them in all day. And Milky Jenkins, put him down for fucking 6 at this stage because the bloke is allergic to not scoring tries. Waz versus Titans over there in New Zealand. I'm going Warriors 13 plus. They are just... loving it at the moment. Coming off a win though for the Titans, but good luck, honestly. Going across the ditch, it's hard enough for anybody. Titans, they've kind of played out of the skin 1 week. I can't see them doing it 2 weeks in a row. Absolutely historical, famous win for the Titans, mind you. So you never know. Stranger things have happened. But yeah, basically everything that I've been saying about the Waz. Middles will get him absolutely humming, and the back line will finish it off. You got Tanner Boyd there playing out of his skin as well. You're getting Luke Metcalf. Where is he going to fit in? A few players coming back through the reserves as well. I think Chance is named, and I think Mitchie Barnett, so you never know who could potentially slot into that team. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what to say about the Warriors. They're just flying at this stage. I don't see Titans really getting a hold of them. It's going to be rough conditions, I dare say, over there. Probably going to be a sold-out crowd, and I'm going to go with Dallin with Tenny Zalesniak to score any time again. All right, Rabbithos versus Dragons. I'm going Rabbits 13 plus. We know the Dragons suck. That's basically it. But like I said, at the end of this recording, by the time this comes out Wednesday morning, they might already have a new coach, and I might be changing my tune a little bit. But give me 0-7. Thank you very much. I feel like everyone sees this coming. I want to see an absolute crash out from Dragons fans. It's nice to see them lose. And yeah, Wayne's going to be up them from last week. Letting such a big scoreline get put on them in the first half. Can't see it happening 2 weeks in a row. But the Rabbithos, now this is the main reason for the 13 plus. They have got a secret weapon back this week. Matt Duffy is playing there at fullback. I didn't think would see the day he'd be back in the NRL, but here he is. He's gone over the Super League, annihilated them. Too good to be in the Super League. He's come back to the NRL, and now he's slotted at number 1 at the Rabbithos. Watch him have an absolute historical performance. Kill them all day. And I'm going to go Trell. Trell met that's it to score anytime. He's been on a bit of a run, and thank you so much for the Super Coach points. But yeah, Dragons, I don't know. What do? They got players asking to quit at this point. Like, just absolute shambles. Move on. Tigers versus Brisbane Broncos. I'm scared. I'm a little bit scared. I have faith that we can do it. I believe we're going to do it. I'm going to back my boys 1-12, of course. But yeah, we're coming up against a red-hot Tigers team. But how long is that going to last as well? How long? I'm not too sure. So, yeah, a little bit scared. We are missing so many players. Like, literally, it'd have to be nearly half the team at this point. We're about 6 hookers in, 6 halves in. We've lost some props. Everyone's injured. Everyone's dying. That's basically where we're at this stage. Yeah, a little bit rough. So this week, I think Joshy Rogers has been named there at the 9, so no Cameron Bukowski, which is a little bit interesting. I thought they might have given him a run, but he is so young, and it's like, I feel like as Broncos fans, like at this point, we kind of just need to have a look at the situation, be like, look, we are missing 1 billion people. Wouldn't be surprised if we come into this and don't win it. I have faith again that we can win it, but, don't be surprised if we lose, right? So it's like, do we want to throw in a young kid, crush his confidence if something goes bad, or get injured? You're coming up against a couple big boys there in the Tigers team, so he is named in reserves, might get a run, but, is it going to make the world of difference? Probably not at this stage. I saw I think it was the Carter boys posted that, the only option at this stage is to roll out Cam Smith. Now, that would be all time to see him run out in a Broncos jersey. Even as just a meme, they should do that just for shits and gigs, have him run out there on the field, and then continue just to mosey on the side. But, we've come into these situations before. Reno has been named again. Wouldn't be surprised if Duffy plays over him at this stage. But I suppose, they said I think Reno could have almost played last week. Obviously, he got named. So it would be nice to have him back. We need somebody like that, with a bit more experience, I think, to unlock the team with that familiarity and, get everyone humming, lead them around the park. Not that Duffy did a bad job necessarily of that, but Reno, you're picking a premiership half. Thank you very much. But yeah, I think it was last year. We played against the Bulldogs around that Origin period. We had 1 billion people out as well. Nobody gave us a chance, and I think that's when the Bulldogs might have still had Sexy Sexton and were scared of the rain. Impossible game to win, basically, and we went out there and got the damn thing done. Now, Billy Walters wasn't that team, and fuck, it would be nice to have a Billy Walters around about now, but we don't. So, you work with the pieces that you got. But yeah, no Paddy Carrigan because he's gone and exploded somebody's head. Albix Taff is injured. No, there is Reno. No Ben Hunt. No Reese. It's just like, what is doing at this stage? All of our hookers are gone missing. Like at this stage, we're just going to wander into the valley and try to pick up somebody. I don't know. Like that's basically where we're. Oh, mate, you look like you play rugby league. You want to come be our hooker for this week? Chuck on the 9 jersey. Like, can you tackle everything that moves? Yeah, you're coming with us. It's basically where we're at this stage. So, yeah, look, it's going to be an uphill battle, but I think we can get it done. I feel like people are going to be lifting big time. No Paddy Carrigan. You got Xavier Willison coming there at 13, which I love to see. And yeah, see Big Payne Haas lift like you would not believe in this. I reckon he's going to absolutely go off. And I'm going to go with Katoni to score any time in this. Alrighty, second last one, Roosters versus the Knights. I'm going to back the Knights again this week. I'm going to go 1-12. I feel like they're going to have a massive bounce back. They would be very disappointed after their performance last week. And, was it even necessarily them playing that bad? I'm not too sure. Like, the Tigers, again, just absolutely played through their skin. Fletcher Sharp, though, he goes into fullback with Dilly Bags returning, which I love. He's such an exciting player. He looked a little bit played with himself a bit last week, but him at fullback just roaming around, that is danger if I've ever seen it. But yeah, I reckon if they can actually get a little bit of ball in their hand, a little bit of field position, unlike last week, they'll find points. It'll be happy days. A little bit rough for Fletcher Hunt, who bows out in that case. But look, you're not Pokemon. You can't have them all, I suppose. And I'm not overly sure still or convinced where the Roosters are at. Like, Are they good? Are they bad? Are they hot? Are they ugly? Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of inconsistency there. They've got a few players back, which definitely help. But, again, the Knights should be well and truly up for this one. So, yeah, I'm going to go with them. And I'm going to go with, again, as always, a mythical try-scoring Knights. Dom Young to score any time. Alrighty, last but not least, we've got Eels versus the Doggies. Doggies 1-12. Thank you very much for coming to this one. Eels, they're a little bit... It's almost like if there's a week actually to back the Eels, it probably is this one, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. After coming back-to-back after, their second 50-point fisting of the year, like... Surely there's going to be a bounce back on the cards. But, on paper, the Doggies should go out there and demolish them. There should be pretty much an easy day for them. The Dogs as well should have some serious confidence rolling into this one after shutting down Penrith last week. Like, maybe things are slowly starting to work out for them. Maybe they're getting a little bit of chemistry back. They got the kick up the arse that they needed. Maybe Adam O'Brien has, had an epiphany overnight and turned into an absolute attacking coach weapon. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to go with the Doggies on this one. I can see short ball to Preste going over all day, so lock that in for my try scorer. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, again, appreciate it if you've made it this far. Go suss out all the follows. Go follow on all the socials and all that sort of jazz. There'll be plenty of content coming out throughout the week, depending on what's going on. But catch you guys next week.